Season 2 is here, and we got a lot of nerfs and we got a lot of buffs going on in this season. Plus, we introduced 3 new weapons at the start of the season with the PPSH 41. We got the Feng 82, and we also have the Cipher 91. We got the TR12 coming in the mid-season update, but we're gonna go through and we're gonna rank these and see what is still meta, what should you be still using, what is viable. We're gonna go through each one. I've played all day long to make sure I got enough playtime and understanding where things should be. I wanted to make sure we get the good amount of info. So with that, let's hop in and go through the tiered ranking list here. We're gonna start right off the bat with what I would call is a, probably a B tier gun, which is the AS Val. We're gonna put that in the B tier. It wasn't really touched in the new update. It kind of stays stagnant. It's got a fast fire rate, but the time to kill is very slow compared to other options out there. So we're gonna start with the AS Val, and that is gonna be your B tier. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and pull it up, the GPR 91. That's right, GPR 91. And that for me still stays in the meta tier. They didn't really touch it a whole lot in the patch notes, and the great fire rate, easy to use. Remember, we talked about recoil control before, so understanding the recoil control, it's consistent. So for me, the GPR 91 with no touching and no nerfs and no buffs, just staying kind of status quo, stays in the meta. There is a couple other options that are going in the meta as well, but right now, the GPR 91 you still can keep in your loadouts. Let's move on. SMG. I would go ahead and look at the PP919, the Bullfrog, whatever you want to call it. But the PP919 for me is going to be A tier, so which is slightly out of meta, only because the range was nerfed a little bit during the weapon tuning and balancing that came across today. So you're not going to get as much long range, and the fire rate. So looking at the fire rate is a little bit slower than like a Jackal, than the PPSH, stuff like that. So I would say it's definitely viable, it's definitely A tier, but the PP919 is not going to be absolute meta. You can flirt with it, it's very close. So if you do want to keep it in your loadout, I don't blame you. You want variety, I think that's a good way to go, but it's going to be A tier for me. All right, moving on. XM4. Now, I use this today and it goes to meta to me. I didn't feel a lot of changes when using the XM4. Still felt the same XM4. Now I know they made, if you're running the 100 round mag, it's going to be a slower aim down sight speed, which makes sense. And they nerfed a little bit of the recoil, but I didn't really feel it. I don't know if I'm just used to the gun. The buffer stock also got nerfed with this go around, but it to me is still in the meta. The damage profiles are there. The consistency is still there. I didn't see enough change here to move it out of the meta tier into the A tier. I think that's still meta. I think you should still be using it, and it should be a Trident 2. So we're going to rank that in the meta category. And hey, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below, because if I missed something, or if maybe you're having a different experience, let me know. Now we're going to go into some that are just completely terrible, like the Goblin MK1. Like, that's not even, I shouldn't even have it up here, but it's not viable. You should never use it. Like, let's just be real. The Goblin is just not good, period. So let's not use that. All right, AK-47. That for me is A tier, and it flirts with B or A, and I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. The recoil control is not that easy. It's a very high vertical recoil. You have to put on the attachments to control that vertical recoil. It can float between A or B tier. If you are very good at controlling recoil, then I would suggest the AK-74 for you. If you're not, I would go with something easier like the GPR 91 or the XM4 so far. But I would say the AK-74, it feels good, hits hard, good TTK, but at long ranges, when you're looking past 50 meters, the recoil control gets a little bit out of control. And if you're out of control, you're missing your shots. All right, we got the new guns. So it's been some time leveling them up today, using them. Got the PPSH41. You guys are used to this fast fire rate. Used it in Warzone today. Got it almost leveled up completely. This thing is meta. So if you haven't been spending time with it, I know it's just day one, lock in. Put the time in here. You got fast fire rate, which you can even make faster, which I haven't messed with. Good time to kill. really, really overall solid gun. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it, just like we did in other Call of Duty titles. You're going to have good mobility, you're going to have good stability, and easy to control. Even the blueprint that comes with the battle pass has good recoil control. I thought it was going to be all over the place, but it's super easy to use. All right, the other new gun, the Cypher 91. I'm going to put that as an A tier. Now, great all around, easy gun to use. Recoil is simple to control, and the consistency is there. A couple things that made me put it in A tier. One, it's slow fire rate. Even I have the extra fire mod to make it a faster fire rate, it still feels slow. But with slow, you do get better consistency with your shots. So it's up to you. It's kind of a trade-off. It is viable. It is able to use. It is A tier. But I would say for new guns, it's worth the time leveling up the Cypher 91. I've got it almost maxed out, and it's a very good gun, especially short range. Rebirth Island would be reminiscent of the FAR, just less mobility. So Cypher 91, definitely one you want to go after. All right, meta, the Fang 92. This is listed as an LMG, which is interesting because to me, it's shaped like a AR. There is a lot of recoil, so you're gonna have to load this up with a good amount of recoil. If you have the recoil attachments on there, I just clutched a Rebirth game, got the final 3 kills with the Fang 82. It's a great gun. You just gotta have the right attachments unlocked for the recoil. So you need to be making sure that when you are building your loadouts that you're looking at the vertical and the horizontal recoil control patterns, because those are huge. If you can control those, you got them all locked in, you'll be able to do a lot of damage. And the meta for that LMG, I think that's going to be a strong meta contender. So I think we got a good couple things here. We got the GPR 91, the XM4, PPSH. We have the Fang 82 as well for meta. Moving along, so with SMGs, you got the Tanto 22. For me, I hate this gun. I think this gun is complete garbage. I lose more gunfights than I win. That's going to go in the D category with the Goblin because they're just quite terrible. It's just not good. Highly, highly do not recommend it for Warzone at all. Fire rate's too slow. Damage per mag is just not good. Damage in general is just not good. You got to hit all headshots. It's just not something you want to be using. Get that out of your loadout if it's in your loadout, and don't pick it up for ground loot. All right, moving along with the Saug or the Mac 10. I would say it's a B tier for me. So it's definitely can be used, but the damage for time to kill, the fire rate, and consistency are just not there compared to other things in that lane, whether it be a PP919, whether it be the new PPSH, whether it be the Jackal, which we'll talk about here in a second. But the Saug overall, looking at all the stats on it, whether it be headshot multiplier, neck multiplier, body multiplier, it's a B tier gun in Warzone. Fun to use. It needs more of a buff to make it up into A or the meta tier. Now we have the Ames 85. The Ames 85 for me is a good A tier gun. The one thing that's really key here is the consistency with the recoil control. It is extremely easy to control the recoil here. So if you're looking for something that's easy to control, all around a decent gun, but keep in mind, if you're going to go up against a Fang, an XM4, or a GPR 91, you will lose. So it's just, that's kind of the thought process is like, okay, it is pretty good. It's easy to control, but it has a lower damage per bullet versus the other guns in the category. But overall, it's an A tier gun. It flirts with B tier, but I think there is a room for the Ames 85 there. And then the Jackal, that is still meta. That stands up right here. They did nerf it in the update, but they didn't nerf the damage profiles. What they did was the range. They nerfed the range. So you can't shoot it as far, but as an SMG, yes, it was great to have it benefit as like a sniper support, but now it's a true SMG. This is still the meta. I think you're looking at the Jackal and the PPSH based upon damage profiles, based upon range, based upon usability in game that I just did. This is going to be the two SMGs you're going to want to use. Now look at the C9, guys, and this one is still, for me, if I'm ranking them, I would put it in the B category. When you're looking at comparing it to the PP19 and the Jackal and the new PPSH, it's an all-around solid gun, good ground loot, but the time to kill is a tad bit slower, and it's just there are better options in the arsenal. So I would do C9 as a B category, which leads me into the Kompak 92, which I would also put in the B category. I really enjoy this gun. I love how it feels. I love the iron sights, to be honest. And actually, I put it in the C category only because the time to kill is slower than the C9. Reliability consistent there, but it needs a buff, and it definitely needs one fast to get this gun up to speed with the rest. But that would be a C category there. And then the KSV. I believe the KSV is an A for me, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Great iron sights, great mobility, real great builds with 5 attachments. The only downside is you're gonna have a little bit faster time to kill on the Jackal and the PPSH, but overall the KSV is a lot of fun. I run with it a lot, go back and forth between the PP919 and the KSV, but both really good guns. And then the Krig C, to round it out for me, is a solid C. When you're looking at the GPR 91, the XM4, the Feng 82, the new Spotter 91 or Cipher 91, the Krig C is like a C. I mean, it's in the name, but it is reliable, it is consistent, but it feels like it shoots marshmallows. It gets very ticky-tacky at range, 50 meters or out. It just feels like it doesn't hit as hard. It does have good recoil control, and it is a consistent gun. So that's where I would put that one. And hey guys, if you want more videos like this from me, go ahead and check these 2 out right here. I got one, and hey, are we hurting ourselves by choosing the wrong FOV setting? Oh, and this other one gives you the winning formula on how to get more wins inside of Warzone in 2025. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.